He is 22 years old, but his eyes belong to a man twice that age. Kaelen Vance drags a dead Chimera Wolf across a field that has drunk its fill of blood. The wolf's fur is matted with gore, its 3 heads lolling in obscene stillness, but Kaelen does not flinch. He cannot afford to. He wears a stained leather apron, stiff with the residue of past horrors, and a dirty rag is wrapped around his face like a shroud, hiding everything but his eyes. Those eyes are the only windows into a soul that has worked the grey mile for 5 years. Around him, other moppers, the scavengers, the forgotten, the unblessed, hack tusks from the corpse of a fallen behemoth. This is their world, the designated cleanup zone, the place where the awakened hunters leave their mess and the common people crawl in to claim the scraps.
Kaelen's parents bled out on this same cursed ground when he was 17. They were moppers too, and because Kaelen was born without the spark of power, without the gifts that mark the awakened, he had no choice but to inherit the family trade, the only work in the city that pays enough to keep 4 younger siblings from starving. He supports them all now. Mira, the eldest sister, who stirs pots of thin stew and pretends she isn't hungry. Little Doran, who still believes monsters are only stories whispered to frighten children. And the twins, Sera and Finn, who share a single bed and cling to each other in the dark. Kaelen works so they never have to see what he sees, so they never have to smell what he smells. He tells himself it is enough. But the grey mile is never finished with its debt.
A horn splits the air, a raw, desperate wail from the lookout. A rift pulse has been sighted. The awakened hunters, in their arrogance or exhaustion, missed a secondary breach. The ground begins to tremble. And then they come. Spine devils, huge and black, their bodies made of chitinous armor, their heads nothing but circular mouths full of grinding teeth. They erupt from the soil like rotten teeth pushing through diseased gums. Kaelen does not scream. He has no time for fear. The crew's leader, Bela, locks eyes with him across the chaos, and they both speak the same silent command: run. While the others flee, Kaelen and Bela turn to face the horde alone, executing the emergency zigzag evasion they have drilled 1,000 times. They dart, weave, and lead the devils on a desperate chase, buying their people 5 precious minutes. 5 minutes to reach the gate, 5 minutes to live.
But 5 minutes is a knife that cuts both ways. When the time runs out, Kaelen and Bela find themselves surrounded. There is no path left, no escape. Only the 2 of them, backs pressed together like the last 2 trees in a burning forest. They raise their coated spears, crude things, but laced with enough toxin to pierce monster hide. They fight not with magic or miracles, but with years of desperate, bloody knowledge. They hold the line for 1 breath, then 2, then 10, and then the world turns to splinters of black and red. A spine devil impales Kaelen through the chest.
He feels the cold spike slide between his ribs, a shock so profound it steals the air from his lungs. He does not think of revenge. He does not curse the awakened, or the rifts, or the cruel mathematics of a world that lets children starve while heroes collect glory. As his blood paints the soil of the grey mile, his final thoughts are soft, small, human. He sees Mira stirring a pot. He hears Doran laughing at a shadow in the corner of their tiny room. He feels the warmth of the twins, Sera and Finn, curled together in that single bed, their breathing slow and safe. Kaelen closes his eyes, and with the last ember of his will, he wishes for only one thing: a second chance, not for power, not for vengeance, just the chance to do it all over again, to hold them, to feed them, to keep the monsters away for good. And somewhere in the darkness between heartbeats, the universe tilts on its axis.
Kaelen gasps awake like a drowning man breaking the surface of a frozen lake.
His body jerks upright. He is 17 years old. He knows this because he is sitting on the broken couch in his family's small apartment, the same couch where he used to fall asleep as a boy, listening to his parents argue quietly about money in the next room. The fabric is rough under his palms. The air smells of cheap synth broth and the faint metallic tang of the city's recycled oxygen. He blinks once, twice. His heart is hammering against his ribs. He was just impaled. He felt the cold spikes slide between his ribs. He watched his blood paint the soil of the Grey Mile. And now he is here. In the past, the wish he made with his dying breath, a second chance, has been granted. But before he can fully grasp the impossible weight of what has happened, a knock sounds at the door, 3 sharp raps, and just like that, the past comes flooding back with the force of a breaking wave. He knows who is on the other side. He remembers this day with a clarity that feels like broken glass lodged in his throat. This is the day the Mopper's runners came, 2 young women, barely older than him, wearing the same stained aprons and tired eyes as everyone who works the Grey Mile. Their job is to deliver messages, and today their message will destroy his world all over again.
He opens the door. They stand there, shifting their weight from foot to foot, unable to look him directly in the eye. One of them clutches a worn data slate. The other holds her own hands together as if praying. Their sorrow is raw, visible. They have done this before. They will do it again. The one with the slate finally speaks. Her voice cracks. "Your parents' crew was ambushed near the eastern wall." She pauses, swallows. Both confirmed dead. The words hang in the stale air of the hallway. Last time, Kaelen crumbled. Last time, he fell to his knees and sobbed until his throat was raw. Last time, the grief nearly swallowed him whole. But not this time. This time, he looks at the 2 runners with steady eyes. He thanks them, quietly, genuinely, and closes the door. His hands do not tremble. His breath does not hitch. He has already died once. He will not let grief steal another moment. He turns to face his siblings. Mira, the eldest sister, is stirring a pot on the salvaged induction coil. Little Doran is on the floor, playing with his crude wolf plushie. The twins, Sera and Finn, are curled together on their shared bed, watching him with wide, innocent eyes. Kaelen kneels down. He tells Mira and Doran the truth. He watches Mira's face crumble. He watches Doran's brow furrow in confusion, too young to understand what death truly means. But when he turns to Sera and Finn, he lies. He tells them their parents have been transferred to another city. They will be away for 2 or 3 years, he says. It is a kindness they will one day forgive him for. Mira steps outside to cry alone. Doran returns to his toy. Sera and Finn hold each other tighter than before. And Kaelen remembers. He remembers this day from his first life. He remembers the despair that followed, the suffocating weight of sudden responsibility, the sleepless nights, the slow, grinding erosion of hope. But now, something is different. The air in front of him shimmers. A translucent blue window materializes before his eyes, hovering in the middle of the dingy apartment like a ghost from a future that should not exist. System reinitialized. Welcome back, Kaelen Vance. Legacy class unlocked. Omni-Knight. Proficiency 0%. Mastery of all combat disciplines required.
He stares at the words, Omni-Knight. He does not know what it means yet, but he understands that whatever brought him back has given him a weapon far sharper than any coated spear. Then a second notification appears, this one colder, more urgent. World information updated. The bridge is 72% open. Extinction in 11 years. 11 years. The number drills itself into his skull. 11 years until everything ends, until the monsters win, until the city falls, until Mira, Doran, Sera, and Finn become nothing but memories scattered across a dead world. Kaelen clenches his fists so tightly his knuckles turn white. His jaw is set, his eyes, Those same exhausted eyes from the grey mile now burn with something new. Not desperation, not grief, determination. He has 11 years to save everyone. He has 11 years to become something more than a mopper, more than a corpse left to rot in the mud. He looks at his siblings, Mira weeping on the balcony, Doran hugging his toy, the twins holding each other, and he makes a silent promise. He has to start now.
The Ethelberg Military Academy entrance exam is in 3 months. Only the top 5% of candidates are accepted. In his previous life, Kaelen never even applied. Why would he? He had no special ability, no awakened powers, no family connections. He was just a mopper's son, destined to become a mopper himself. But now, everything is different. Now he has a system. Now he has 5 years of mopping experience burned into his muscle memory. 5 years of watching monsters die, learning how they move, how they think, where their soft spots are, and what kills them fastest. He is no longer a helpless boy. He is a weapon being forged. And the system agrees. His first task appears before his eyes in that familiar translucent blue. Quest, build strength, kill 50 low-tier monsters. 50 kills, 50 lives taken before he can even think about stepping foot inside the academy. Kaelen does not hesitate. He waits until the apartment is dark and his siblings are asleep. He straps on his twin daggers, slings his bow and a quiver of arrows across his back, and slips out into the neon-drenched night.
He sneaks out of the city through a gap in the eastern wall, a rusted drainage pipe that the patrol drones have long stopped monitoring. From there, he moves through ditches, keeping low, keeping quiet, until he reaches a forested area on the outskirts of the wastelands. This is where the low-tier monsters congregate. He knows because he has harvested their corpses for years. Now, he will be the one spilling blood. He rubs mud into his clothes, his face, his hands. He sprinkles crushed monster remains over his body, a trick he learned from the old moppers. Human scent attracts monsters, but the smell of their own dead masks it completely. His arrows and daggers are laced with dandinite, a rare chemical mined deep in the wastelands. It is the only reason moppers can penetrate monster hide at all. But knowing a thing and doing a thing are very different. Kaelen crouches behind a fallen log, his heart slamming against his ribs so loudly he is certain the monsters can hear it. His breath comes in short, panicked gasps. The system flashes a warning. Calm down, detection risk high. He closes his eyes. He thinks of Mira, of Doran, of Sera and Finn holding each other in their shared bed. He thinks of the 11 years he has left. He takes a slow, deep breath. Then another. His heart steadies. He opens his eyes. I can do this, he whispers to himself, and before midnight, he begins his killing spree. His first kill is clean. An arrow loosed from 30 meters flies straight and true into the skull of a creature that looks like a leopard with enormous glowing eyes and claws as long as his forearm. The monster drops without a sound. Kaelen does not celebrate. He knocks another arrow. He moves deeper into the forest. Some kills he makes from a distance, arrows finding throats, eyes, the soft joints behind forelegs. Others he makes up close, his twin daggers flashing in the moonlight, stabbing and slashing in ways that look ugly but work. He does not fight like a hero. He fights like a mopper, efficient, brutal, final. One by one, the monsters fall, and with each kill, the system rewards him.
The notifications flicker across his vision like fireflies. He does not stop to read them. He cannot stop. There is blood on his hands and mud on his face, and the forest is alive with the sounds of dying things. He kills until his arms ache, until his arrows run low, until the moon is high and then begins its long descent. When the last monster falls, Kaelen looks at the time, sometime around 4 in the morning. He is exhausted, bone-deep, soul-deep exhaustion that reminds him of the Grey Mile. But this time, the exhaustion tastes different. It tastes like progress. He returns to the city the same way he left, through the drainage pipe, through the ditches, keeping to the shadows. He slips back into the small apartment just as the first gray light of dawn begins to filter through the grimy windows. He thinks he is quiet. He thinks no one noticed. But Mira is sitting at the kitchen table, her eyes red from crying. a cold cup of synth tea forgotten in her hands. She sees him come in, covered in mud, smelling of monster blood, twin daggers strapped to his hips. She does not say anything. She simply watches as he washes himself in the tiny bathroom and collapses into bed. She does not ask where he has been. Not yet.
When Kaelen wakes, the afternoon sun is streaming through the window. He eats a quick meal, then stew a stale piece of bread, and then he opens the system panel. He needs to understand what he has become. The Omni-Knight class is laid out before him like a star map. 5 branches: tank, warrior, assassin, mage, healer. Each branch glows with its own color: crimson, steel gray, shadow black, arcane blue, soft gold. To unlock any skill, he cannot simply spend points. He must train. Real-world discipline, real-world sweat and blood. The system provides guidance, but no shortcuts. And then he sees the note, written in cold, serious text. Omni-Knight was sealed for 200 years. The last user has not been seen for over 2 centuries. Balance is required. Neglect any branch, and the class will reject you.
Kaelen stares at those words. Balance is required. He cannot just become a damage dealer, slicing through monsters with daggers and arrows. He cannot just become a tank, absorbing blows meant for others. He must become all of it, a one-man army, a warrior who can stand on the front lines, an assassin who can strike from the shadows, a mage who can bend the elements, a healer who can mend what is broken, and a tank who can take hits that would shatter ordinary men. So he begins. He starts with warrior and assassin because they are the branches he understands best. He does bodyweight exercises until his muscles scream and fail. Push-ups, squats, lunges, pull-ups on the rusty pipe outside the apartment window. He practices with a wooden sword Mira found at a salvage yard, swinging until his palms blister and bleed. He learns how to move silently through the apartment, how to control his breathing, how to make himself small and invisible. He sleeps 4 hours in the afternoon, no more, no less, and sneaks out of the city every night to kill more monsters. Each kill sharpens his skills. Each night the system chimes with new rewards. His strength grows, his stealth deepens, his arrows fly truer, his daggers strike faster.
Mira notices. Of course she notices. She is his sister, and she has been holding their family together for as long as he can remember. One evening, as he is strapping on his daggers, she steps into the doorway. Her arms are crossed. Her eyes are tired, but sharp. "What are you doing, Kaelen?" she asks. Not an accusation, not yet, just a question. He looks at her, at the dark circles under her eyes, at the way her hands still tremble from the grief she hides so well. He tells her the truth. "I am training," he says, "so that I can pass the military academy exam." Mira says nothing for a long moment. Then she steps aside and lets him pass. She does not try to stop him. She does not ask if he is afraid. She already knows the answer. He is terrified, but he is doing it anyway. For them. For all of them.